This is Brad Marcus from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and today's guest is yet another person who could easily put me in the hospital with physical and mental injuries. She's from Moscow, Russia, and began training in 2014 by the World of Unpredictable Wrestling out of Brooklyn. First match was in 2016, and she wrestles both female and intergender matches. Wrestled all over the world, including US, Canada, and Japan, and you've seen her in Marvelous, Wave, Chikara, CZW, and of course Impact this past June, where she wrestled Jessica Havoc, and then in another match she wrestled Jordan Grace. So without further ado, I give you Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich. Hey Masha, what's going on?
Hi, I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Good. So have you even eaten dinner? Oh, so you're in Japan, correct?
Yes, I am currently in Japan.
Okay, so why are you eating dinner so late?
Well, I ate dinner about 2.5 hours ago, and then I just finished running and working out for the third time today, like a crazy person. So
is that an everyday thing, 3 times a day?
Usually 3. Sometimes it goes like 4. Sometimes it's 2. It's it gets a little mixy because sometimes we do like a YouTube live workout, or sometimes we have like in-ring training at different times. So it all depends.
Have you been back to the States since the coronavirus madness started, like, in March?
No, I've been here since January.
So is there as many holdups in Japan as a result of coronavirus, like shows being canceled or fans not coming?
In April, like right at the end of March, and all of April, May, and June, there was pretty much all the shows were canceled, and we had, dojo tapings and whatnot with no fans. And then in July, and now we're in August, we've been running, normal shows with fans, and things have been relatively good so far.
Yeah, no one's gotten sick, so that's the important part. So let's go all the way back. Were you born in Russia?
Yes, I was born in Moscow, Russia.
Okay, and how old were you when you came to the States?
We're just gonna leave Russian Dynamite as it is.
Got it. So when you were here, did you speak any English when you came?
I learned English when I was like 5 years old, going to kindergarten? Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. My wife moved here from Kiev when she was 4 years old. Again, that's how she learned English, just like by watching TV and going to school. So
yeah, I remember being a little kid and just like, it was kind of weird just hearing other people speak other things around me. I don't know. Couldn't really understand it or like explain it then. Still can't like explain it now because I was a little kid, but it was just like, what is this? And growing up in Queens, there's a lot of people who don't speak English. There's people speaking Spanish or like Arabic and stuff like that. So it was just very confusing.
Yeah, I bet. So where did you get exposed to wrestling first?
I just remember one day I came home from karate practice, and I just like flipped on the television and I saw SmackDown, and like instantly within like 5 minutes I was like, this is it, like this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. I don't like, this is gonna be my profession and my entire life. So I just was enamored by it.
So you weren't at the age of, all right, I'm gonna start training tomorrow. Were you
no, still very, very young, like maybe like 5 or something like that.
Oh, okay. So so when you turned 18, who'd you contact first start training?
Well, I started training at the age of 16.
Okay.
And I pretty much Googled like schools in my area, schools in New York City, and I decided to contact Johnny Rods. Mm-hmm. And I gave him a phone call, and he told me that he wasn't going to talk to me because I was 16. He told me to like have my parents call him or come into the school. So me and my mom went down to the World of Unpredictable Wrestling and probably stayed there for a good 4 hours. And right, like I came and started training in 2 days after that.
Was your mom, when she came there with you for the first time, did she have any hesitancy about you going through with this? Or was she really supportive?
She was supportive of me because she knew that this was my dream and that I wouldn't stop, bugging her about it until I finally started training. But she was also, like, she has no clue. Like, to this day, she doesn't understand wrestling. Like, she understands, like, matches when she watches them now. But, I mean, back then, she didn't know, like, the first thing about wrestling whatsoever. So she had, a lot of questions, but I'm pretty sure that when she got the answers, she still had no idea what the hell they were.
Yeah, totally.
I guess she figured that it was better to just let me do it than have me nag her about it until the end of time.
So does she get excited when she sees your matches?
She's always concerned I'm going to break my back or my neck or something like that. Because, she's already had several times that I've come home with some sort of incident. So she's worried, but she does like my wrestling.
Great. What was your first week of training like? Was it just like shocking to you? Was it what you expected?
I didn't really know what to expect, even though, like, before I turned 16, because I knew that I wanted to wrestle. Everything I've ever did was in preparation for wrestling. So I would do, like, track and field, swimming, weightlifting. So I knew that those things would be helpful because it would be like, cardio and have some strength. But when I got in there, I remember specifically it was like me and like 3 other guys on a Monday night. And they were just like, teaching me rolls. And I was doing pretty good at those because I have a bit of a gymnastics background. So those are kind of natural to me. And I just remember it like progressed very quickly because I remember the first day we were just doing rolls. And on day 3, I was like hitting Hurricane Ranas. And I'm like, well, this is crazy. Like,
wow. But that's not typical, right? Like picking up that quickly.
It wasn't. A lot of people were, pretty surprised that I was, like, they were saying I was natural at it and whatnot, but that didn't stop me from coming in every single day and putting in, like, hours and hours of work because, hard work beats talent.
Yeah. Did you have, like, a low point, like, of, like, during your training, like, I don't know if I can keep doing this?
Never. Like, I sometimes, like, like everybody would doubt themselves, obviously, at some point, and I would be like, I don't know, if I'm going to succeed at this. I don't know if I'm going to be any good at this. But deep down in my heart, I knew that this was what I was meant to be doing. And I was just never going to stop. Like, I was going to give it, everything, and I was just going to keep pushing. I never, ever in my life had a thought that I was going to quit at this.
Oh, that's great. Did the men treat you like they would treat each other, or did they give you any trouble?
No, I was, treated just like one of the boys from the start because they had said to me that there were a couple of, like, women in the past or whatever who they had went, like, gently on, and it didn't turn out very well because
it doesn't prepare them for what's actually going to happen.
So I just got my ass whipped like I was a guy, and you know what? I was thankful for it then, and I'm even more thankful for it now because it made me who I am as a person and as a wrestler, and I have nothing but thanks for everybody who did whatever they did and trained me in the ways that they trained me.
So you had your first match in Japan?
Yes, I had my debut match for Reina Pro Wrestling.
How did you get there for your first match as opposed to something here in the States?
So at the time, Johnny Rod's place had a working relationship with CMLL as well as Reina Pro Wrestling. Okay. So we had, I don't remember how long it was before my debut. I'm pretty sure it was maybe like 6 months or, a little bit longer than that. But we had scouts come in. We had Yusuke Kodama and Makoto come and, run some classes. And I'm pretty sure they were doing shows out there and whatnot, but they had took the time to stop by and, like, scout us. And they I guess they had their eye on me, and they insisted that even though I was underage, that I was to have like a tag match, like an exhibition match, which we went through with that. And then next thing I knew, I turned 18 and I was on a plane to Japan like 2 weeks after my birthday.
So with just like a bag of clothing and your gear, that's all did you have to like ship anything over there?
No, I just, clothing, my passport, my gear.
And where do you stay? Like, did you have somewhere already set up to stay once you got there?
I literally got there and I had no idea who was picking me up at the airport. I had no idea where I was going. Like, I walked out, like, from the airport gate or whatever, and there was a man standing there, like, holding a giant show flyer and just pointing at my face, like, on the flyer, and he's just, like, hoping to God that I come up to him. He didn't speak a lick of English, so I just walk up to this guy. I'm like, hey, I guess you're here for me.
Yeah.
And he just drove me to, like, we stopped at a convenience store. He bought me, like, some food and whatever, drinks, and he drops me off at this, like house, and it was like a dormitory for people who came to Japan for like prolonged periods of time for like studying or work or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I had my own room, and then there was like a big communal kitchen and like a living space downstairs, and then we all had like a communal, like random people, these are not wrestlers, had like a communal bathroom, communal shower downstairs. I think there was a washroom in there. Yeah, there was a washroom in there. And that's it. I just lived in that like little room, like my own little apartment or whatever, for a month and a half.
And so you're not there anymore?
No, I'm with a different company now.
Okay. So when you get to Japan, what's like the biggest culture shock outside of wrestling? Like the food, finding your way around?
I guess finding my way around, like being from New York, was literally never a challenge, like anywhere I go. So I just kind of like, if you can figure out your way around New York, you can figure out your way around anywhere. So that was fine. The food, like the food quality here is mind-blowing. Like I remember when I first got here, that first tour, like anything I ate, I was just like, this is God's creation or something. Like
wow.
And to this day, every time I eat something here, I'm just like, God damn, this is the greatest thing I've ever had in my life. Like every single meal is just phenomenal.
Was there any food that you ate that your body was gagging while you're trying to put it down?
No. Like I've ate some weird shit here sometimes. Like I hate like I think it's called like abalone, and it's like a sea creature, which is like chewing cartilage, and it was very weird to eat it. And then I ate like cow tongue and stuff like that. But it's like all of, like, if you would have told me beforehand what this was, I would have been like, well, that kind of sounds weird. But then I eat it without knowing what it is, and I'm told what it is afterwards. So like it all tastes good, and then I find out what it is, and I'm like, that's interesting.
Now, so for your first match, was it hard to communicate with your opponent? Or was your opponent from Japan?
My first match back in Reina was actually a 3-on-3 match. So it was definitely a little bit like, not like, to be honest, the language barrier wasn't really that much of an issue because we kind of like worked past it with like our body language and whatnot. I was just never really taught how to call a match because I kind of like did a lot of stuff on the fly. So trying to remember like so many things that they were like, having 6 people in the ring for your first match, I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
It's
like,
chaos, yeah.
So much to remember, but luckily it all went pretty well. So it's all right.
I'm gonna not keep you much longer. What's coming up for you? As as far as shows.
So this Saturday, I'm going to be having my debut for Heat Up Pro Wrestling in the morning, And then I'm going to board the bullet train and I'm going to go for the Sendai Girls show in Osaka, which is also on Saturday, August 22nd. And then Marvelous is having their next show on August 24th in Shinkiba First Ring, which is located in Tokyo. So that's what my absolute nearest schedule is looking like.
Okay, so now I'm going to just ask you 5 random questions. They don't really have anything to do with wrestling, but nothing creepy.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. If I paid you, would you be interested in taking my 2 children for the next 12 years?
Hell no.
Got it.
Hell no.
I thought I'd try. I guess I have to go to Craigslist or something. Okay. Do you think you could take down a 44-year-old man who weighs 165 pounds and barely exercises in under 5 seconds? I'm not saying it's me. I'm saying it's someone else.
So yes.
Okay. Would you eat dog meat, like a golden retriever or whatever dog you pick?
To be honest, I wouldn't put it past somebody giving me dog meat here and then telling me afterwards, hey, you just ate a dog, so you know what?
You just ate a golden retriever.
I just don't know.
Have you ever yelled at your television set?
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me if this sounds odd. My in-laws are all from Ukraine, and they told me that if you urinate on a rag while having a migraine and putting it around your head, that gets rid of the migraine. Have you ever heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
Okay, all right. So you're yet another person who's never heard of it. All right. We had Russian Dynamite Masha Slamovich today. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation, and hopefully we can talk again, at the end of the summer or beginning of autumn.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time chatting with you. And whenever you want to do this again, I will most likely be available to do so.
All right. Go get some sleep. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.